How am I going to do this? Good question. Let's find out. So, with everything recapped, why do I always say so? Hello and welcome to another Retro Crazy. This is a Philips CDI 450. I picked it up in France and had it shipped over with my parents. It's been sat for absolute donkeys, sitting doing nothing, and it's probably about time I extracted the digit and got on with it. These were released in 1994, and the Philips Compact Disc Interactive 450 or CDI 450 is a cost-reduced model that was aimed at the console and education markets. Philips had gambled on an all-in-one multimedia platform being the way forward, with games, education and business software, integrated web browsing, email and online play. It sounds amazing, and all before mainstream internet availability. However, the reality is the format didn't take off, and as a games console, the games get universally panned. What makes it worse is the controllers also get ranked in the top 5 worst controllers ever. It wasn't cheap either, at around £295 or £565 converted to, well, that was 2023 rates, and that didn't include the FMV module if you wanted to watch movies, or even include the previously bundled infrared remote, which was now an optional extra. So by 1996, Philips had mostly abandoned the format and sold off the entire part of their business shortly after. However, you will notice something missing. The power supply wasn't included, so I did a Hail Mary and I posted up on Gadget UK 164's Discord looking for the remotest possibility that somebody had one that I could buy. And believe it or not, somebody did. And that was Glen from CRG. I'll put a link in the description. He runs an absolutely amazing channel. Go check him out, you'll not be disappointed. And not only did he have the power supply, he sent it over to me for gratis, for nothing. But he didn't just stop there, because he happened to ask if I had an FMV module. I don't. So he also sent me another Philips 450. This time it has an FMV module. So let's lift this out. We're going to pop this one to the side and we'll be looking at this one. Now, the one Glen sent me over, it is unfortunately non-functional. He started work on it. He believes he's fried some of the main chips and yeah, he decided not to continue. However, he sent me a donor board from a slightly different model. It may well have the chips needed to sort it if I feel that I want to go down that route. Glen, you sir are a star. Thank you. Thank you. So let's have a look at the Philips 450 CDI a little bit closer. So starting off in the front, we have an input socket. If we move to the right side, we have power on and off. Moving to the back, we have power in, we have a 5V DC out, audio left, right, and composite video. Nothing on the left side, and as already been previously shown, we currently have the FMV port underneath. So the first thing I'm going to do, yep, you guessed it, I'm going to check the power supply. Power supplies are dangerous. There are components in these that can hold a charge long after they're unplugged from the mains. So if you're unsure what you're doing, go seek professional advice. So the power supply for the Philips CDI gives out 5V and -5V, and as normal I'm going to pop this open and I'm going to check and see if there are any capacitors and replace them. So that's all the electrolytics replaced. I've also replaced the Class X2, and I would like to again give a big shout out to Martin at Techie Kid. He sent me this cap. I needed specific sizes because there are certain width restrictions to get everything in, and I didn't have anything that fitted here or here. So I ordered up some caps and he sent me this one. Have this one on me, because it's not a brand I know. It's SD. Apparently they are made in Taiwan. They're meant to be quite good, but I couldn't get my usual Panasonic, Rubicon, Nichicon, Nippon Chemicon. So this is hopefully a good equivalent. As you can see, I've got loads of caps here which have been replaced. So I'm going to pop this now back into the base, and I would recommend not doing what I'm about to do at home, but I'm going to test this without the top on because it's easier to get to all these points than it is to try and get tiny little pins on here. Okay, so just before I tested, I wanted to check the fuse, and it was a 13 amp fuse, so that's now been lifted out. Again, this is almost all the way out, so that's going to have to be screwed right the way back in. However, the strain relief has been put in upside down, look. On UK plugs we have two different ways we can actually put the strain relief in, depending on the thickness of the cable, and this has been put in upside down. So if you've got a thick cable, you can see the shape, you put it that way in. With a thin cable you actually put it that way in, because it's got the ridges, I don't know if you'll see them, on the back. So now it needs to go in this way to grip the cable properly. And now the cable's clamped, it cannot move, and it's not going to damage any of the cables in here, pull out, possibly cause a short or worse. First power on test. No bangs, no explosions. Much happier with that. Let's see what we get. So probing the connections actually gave me no voltages, and then I had a thought maybe the switch talks back. There are a lot of cables here. So I've plugged it in, got the power LED here, and if this comes on I can then quickly check the voltages here, make sure everything's fine. So I've got a power LED, quickly checking the voltages. We should have 5 volts somewhere, hopefully these. 1, 2, 3, okay. Somewhere else we should have -5 volts. There we go, -5. So I'm going to guess these two must talk back and energize the rest of the circuit. So let's pop this off and let's finish getting this power supply assembled. And there we are, that's the power supply all done. So let's pop this to the side. So let's have a look at the main unit. It does need a good clean, so once I've stripped it all apart that will happen. However, we need to get it apart, and there are 2 screws here and 2 screws here, and then I think it just pulls apart. And now we're in. Well, immediately I'm seeing some bright green caps, and I suspect they're going to be bipolars, because standard caps are normally like this or blue or similar, but yeah, bright green. Okay, I had to do this off camera, however, there are a number of points. That one, and I'm just bending them back out, and then there are 2 here, that one, and they grab onto the plastic chassis and stop this from lifting out. So you've got to get down the side, pop them, and it just lifts out. Now there's also clips here, here, and the two that I did bend in, which are here. I'll bend it back in place, and here, and these help retain the main board in place. There's loads down this side as well, but they didn't seem to interfere. There's even one, two at the ends, in fact either side as well, and they just did not seem to interfere at all. So yes, very fun. But what that does do is leave us with this main board. Now the board itself is very clean, however the number of caps is a little bit annoying. Don't we just love cap montages? Looking at the switch, it looks like it's meant to pull up to disconnect, and there we go. Interestingly, it's got marked solder direction, and I wonder if that's from the wave soldering that was done, because there's a lot of what's simply termed birdseed. That's these very, very small fine components which absolutely litter this board, and there's even stuff on the underside. Lots and lots of birdseed. Yeah, this would be a nightmare to have to hand build. Right, let's get these caps off and replaced. With everything recapped, let's pop this to the side and look at the CD drive. Now the CD drive is quite basic. I've got some rust maybe that needs to come off, so I'm just going to give it a clean, make sure the lens is nice and clean, remove all of this dust. The board underneath is all surface mount, so not too much to do, but I want to try and carefully get into here, grease up this gear, grease up the worm gear. I want to clean up the track that the carriage moves on, give it a light grease, and then we can go to reassembly. So that's it reassembled. What you didn't see is I had to take the top off, the heat shield off again. The two bipolar caps that I got at the back are slightly too tall, and they were pressing right through onto this and stopping the whole lot at the back from sitting down as it should. And when checked, there was a sizable height difference. Now this is ready for testing, but that's only part of the story, isn't it? So let's pop this to the side just now and bring in the full motion video section. Now I'm going to pop this open. I need to see if there's any capacitors in this, and if there are, we can replace them. So that's it out, and we have some ceramic caps but no electrolytics, so this should be absolutely fine. Nice neat board, an EEPROM. So I'm going to guess this can be firmware upgraded. However, not needed for this, so I'm going to pop it back in and we can look at testing this. So here we are at testing. I've got the Philips 450 CDI all plugged in, ready to go. I've got a stack of CD titles, some standard, some video, and I've got the cartridge separately. So first off, let's do the sensible thing and find out if this powers up. No, it doesn't. So the important thing to learn here, switch it on at the mains first. Okay, now we've remembered to switch it on in the mains. Will it turn on this time? I've got a green light, I heard a drive, and Philips Compact Disc Interactive. That's so far, and it's doing a graphic on screen. Excellent, good. Right, so we're now going to switch off. Let's start at the beginning, and we're going to use the tutorial disc. Now it is a bit banged and scratched, but hopefully it will run. Well, that's different. So I don't know if that's just the disc banged and scratched up and not playing, or something else. Certainly there. Let's try manually operating this. So I'm going to guess it flashes while it's trying to read the disc. So it gets a vibration from the disc, which is quite loud. That noise is obviously everything slowing down, but the disc is not being held on the top. I mean, the disc is not too bad. It is a bit banged and scratched up. Let's see if we can clean it. So I'm just using a microfiber cloth and cleaning the disc up. Now, I have thought of a way I can cheat, because the design of this is such that when cleaning I was able to lift out the top, which will now magnetize everything in place. And of course, remember to do the switch. So nothing at all from that disc. Here's hoping it's the disc. Now I'm having to look for one that does not say digital video cartridge. No idea if this is going to work. Wow, it was the disc. Okay, let me switch this off and actually reset this to how it should be. So with everything as it should be, let's power on. The palm springs open. Okay, let's find out what happens. Nothing. Okay. Okay, back in a moment. Well, it seems I made a fundamental mistake when I purchased this, because this did not come with the 450. The 450 was the cut down version and therefore doesn't have the receiver built in. So yeah, this is going to be no good whatsoever. So I need to purchase a wired controller that plugs in here. So I'll need to wait for that turning up. Dang it. However, we can see that it does run. So let's just do some basics, and let's pop this out and find out if it will power up with the cartridge installed. So first things first, the digital video cartridge is in. I'm still getting a power light, and it's still powering up. Good. Now, if this got menus or anything like that, I'm definitely not going to be able to do anything, but this was sent by Glen. Let's check and see what happens. So it does have a menu. It is registering the disc. Unfortunately, without a controller, I'm not going to be able to start it, however. So let's swap over to something that hopefully will actually at least give an intro. Yep, sorry about the grubby cloth, I've been using that to prop it up, so that the reflection isn't so bad once this is in place, like so. Okay, let's try spacies. Well, there we go, that's perfect. Wow, who remembers spaces? That is definitely playing. So the cartridge, the full motion video cartridge, is working beautifully. The Philips is working beautifully. It's lovely and quiet. So obviously having re-greased everything has made quite a difference. I'm just a little bit annoyed. Yeah, I should have thought. Such is life. Right, well, I'll need to order up a controller before I can play anything. Typical. So, thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. And remember to go check out Casual Retro Gamer, CRG. I'll put a link in the description. He's absolutely superb. He does a lot of good stuff. And again, Glen, thank you for providing both the power supply, the spares, the Beverly Hills Cop video, everything. You're a star. And I'll see everybody else on the next Retro Crazy. And go check out CRG Glen, Casual Retro Gamer. Go check out CRG. Go check out CRG Casual Retro Gamer. Oh dear. Go check out, and remember to go check out Casual Retro Gamer. Oh. And remember to go and check out Casual Retro Gamer, CRG Glen. No, it's not CRG Glen.